the fact that the prince cuts off the sacrifice, and it's not sacrifices, plural. And we saw earlier that the Messiah was also cut off in the middle of the week. See? We get up there. We see now, therefore, and understand that from the going forth of the covenant to restore and build Jerusalem, the Messiah, the prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks, and the street shall be built again, even the wall, even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the princes shall come, shall...
It's going to happen both ways. It happens where there's 70 weeks that are determined, and then 70 sevens, 70 years of sevens, and then there's also going to be actual 70 literal weeks. Just like the Daniel 9:27 is, both ways are going to happen. The Antichrist, Jonathan Kleck, the one that's playing it, the face, on YouTube, the top guy there playing the with the biggest subscription list of people, he's going to cause the prayers to cease because he's cutting off the truth. Once the 1260 days are finished, because there's a 30 days, the two witnesses, 1260 days are, God gives the two witnesses that much time, right? And then they get killed in the streets, and then after 3.5 days, people start seeing these major events happening. But he's going to cause the prayers to cease, and at the same time, God's going to cause the prayers to cease in the midst of the other week. The week that, as soon as they accomplish the scatter the spoil, that week right there, that's the week. And then he'll make a covenant with many for 1 week, and 1 week it'll be 1 7-year period, 7 full year. And then the other way, it's going to be, God's going to make covenant with many for an actual literal 1 week. The truth is the minimal. When it's like, what I'm saying is, since nation Israel became a nation again 70 years ago, that's 70 weeks are determined from that point, which is 70 times, 7 year, the year timesing itself. And then there's actually 70 weeks that are determined. But after 62 weeks, the Messiah gets cut off. The truth gets stomped to the ground on social media after 62 weeks. So once the truth gets shut down, you just have to, in order to find out the truth, just subtract 62 weeks and see where it gets you. When the truth gets shut down, just subtract 1260 days with the two witnesses clothed in sackcloth and see what date where that gets you when the truth is shut down. When you see the abomination desolation standing in the holy place, not everybody's going to see it. That's why there's different dispositions for time periods where Christ was cut off halfway through. 3.5 year ministry, he was cut off. That means we're already, again, it's going to be 2 7-year periods. It's going to be a 7-year period that started May 21st, 2011. 7 years, 5 months, getting October 21st, 2011. And then 62 weeks. There's going to be a cutoff right then and there. But see, when the cutoff happens a second time, the 7-year period's up. But because we've been under God's judgment since 2011, that's also a 7 full year period where it's like, you're not wrong, And I'm not wrong. They're both going to happen, because the one that happens, the one that what the elite play out is like the long term, the 70 years. Everything's stretched out. Like you got 3,600 years once that sun destroys planet Earth on December 28, 2019. You got 3,600 years after that, which is trying to tell you that, you know, you got such a long period of time that you have to live in this Antichrist system. But there's also 36 months from that point on too, because a 7-year tribulation, the elite are playing out the first 3.5, and it's like coming to the middle point where they're going to try to play another 42 months out. But see, only what you believe is what you're going to go through. If you believe that, then you're going to be one of the people that goes through the next 42 months of worshiping, you know, the beast. I'm just looking at long term. Like if things continue on, but there's only minor changes that the majority of the world can't see, only like the underground and, you know, us, basically, it's pretty much it. And the rest of the world isn't going to understand that they got to be put through another 42 months, 3.5 years. But it's not going to be as bad as they're acting like the Bible's good, you know, how they're playing it out, obviously, because they're putting all this death out there on TV and making you think that everybody's dying when they're not, the way that they're saying. And that's just put fear in your heart and make it seem like, for the people that don't know, which is not this channel and anybody on it, the rest of the world. Let's just be real. It's the rest of the world that doesn't even get on social media, or if they do, they're just blinded to it. They don't care. They don't know. That's like their punishment, because they didn't do their homework. They didn't study. They didn't care. We're the ones that cared. That's why 3 years ago, almost, I hopped on here and started saying how I felt, because this is how I feel about what I'm seeing, because I care. I could easily just shut my mouth and said nothing, but then again, I couldn't have easily done that. And I couldn't have easily done it. Maybe other people could, but, you know, that's that spirit that, again, it's not a forceful feeling spirit, but it's a spirit that has a drive that you can't force that spirit to do anything, is what I'm trying to tell you. That spirit it runs on its own. There's other spirits that follow along and do what other people want them to do, or they won't say certain things on YouTube because you don't want people to have some kind of other different, like, looking at you differently. Again, that spirit that you have to have is the one that, you know, you can have the Luciferian spirit or the Christ spirit. You can go to the furthest extreme, the Luciferian, the furthest extreme of the Christ spirit. One or the other can kind of lead you astray too. Like, you can be kind of lost doing one or the other to the fullest, because you can kind of miss out on things. But when you balance it out, is what I'm telling you, balancing out using half and half, but you're not getting full of yourself because of the spirit that's, you know, is unstoppable. When the spirit that you have inside of you, when you finally recognize, and I'm speaking for myself, when I finally recognize that my spirit is unstoppable, then the next, Satan's right there. I mean, he's right there to try to feed your head and get you get a big head. But the spirit that's driving you catches that before he tries it. Like, you already know the tactics of what Lucifer's going to do, and you don't fall for it. So don't get full of yourself just because you have a spirit that's unstoppable. And don't feel bad that you have a spirit that doesn't stop. And don't feel guilty because you think you're not supposed to feel that way when it's just a damn fact and it's true. And there you go. So go with the truth and just go with your gut and just keep going. Don't worry about what people say. But why would you? Like, look at me. I'm sitting here talking to myself, literally, taking a lunch break. I decided to eat twice today. A small breakfast and then a lunch, a cheesesteak. No, it was free. My wife brought it home. But the last 2 days I ate, spread it out 24 hours. Because it feels better to spread it out once. And then today is the third day. So what I'm thinking is, sometimes you want to, like the third day, you'll want to pig out, right? But don't do it like that. But kind of go meet yourself halfway. That way you get rid of the, that fat kid inside you that needs the food. You get rid of him for a little while. And then you put him back into the closet over there for like 2 or 3 days. Because it's kind of, when you're warming up to do a 21-day fast, you gotta kind of, you don't want to do it right away. You don't want to try to like do it right away if you're not used to fasting at all, because you're going to crash. When you spread it apart, you're just basically weaning off. Like, it's like anything, man. That's how I got off of Xanax. I weaned them off. I weaned them off to the point where I could still sleep at night for the most part, but it's still not feeling normal. Man, that was a tough habit. I had that for about 20 years. I mean, no, what am I talking about? I had it for like 30-something years. What? No. Yeah, like 28 years or something like that. Just like on and off, and then on. But yeah, that the disposition in the Bible is that both ways are going to be done, because every verse can basically be taken according to your perspective. You can either have the 100% negative part, which is and then the lie, or 100% positive energy and truth. And you can use either one of those verses and twist it whichever way your spirit is. And that's why the fulfillment is going to be twice. It would only be once. But the elite needed to play it out. So because it's twice, they got to play out the part where it comes after them, right? They're trying to see their vision, they're trying to make it happen, but they fail with their vision. So they got to play that part first, and that's what woke us up. If they didn't do what they're doing, they wouldn't have woke up the beast. They were poking the lion because of their fakery and the vision that Kleck's trying to fulfill and be worshipped. He's so excited, man. He's so excited because he has all these people worshiping him right now. I can see it clearly. When he's setting up stage for the show that's getting ready to take place, after the 1,260 days of two witnesses in sackcloth, after that happens, he's going to shut it down, and then he's going to rise up and he's going to be so super flamboyant. Like, trust me when I tell you, he's going to be more in what he's doing is exactly what God needs him to do. And it's the funniest damn thing. He needs him to start telling the truth. He's only going to start telling the truth when the truth has been stomped to the ground. In other words, he's going to start basically repenting without even knowing it, because he's going to start telling you more and more without the codes. He's just going to he might even just flat out tell you, I'm the Antichrist. But that's like a fast. That's getting him warmed up and prepared to tell the damn truth from now on. So that's why I do the keep in mind this 21-day fast. Look, you don't have to freaking not eat anything at all like I thought before, but again, Justin kind of brought me back down to earth here and let me know that you're misinterpreting it, basically, the way he said. I remember he told Andrew, when I was talking to Andrew on the phone, he's like, yeah, he said you guys are misinterpreting. And I'm thinking like, yeah, he's just trying to cause trouble. Fucking weirdo. Nah, he was just telling me the truth. He was telling me how he felt. I'm glad he did. So that's what happens when you speak your mind without worrying about what other people think about you. But he said we were misinterpreted, but at the same time, I remember doing it. I didn't eat for 7 full days. It was tough. And then the next 2 weeks, I did just fruits and vegetables. But then I gained the weight back because it was one of the first times I kind of tried to do it. But you learn how to refuel yourself after you're done fasting. Eating no pleasant thing is, again, it's just look at it like this. When you're reading the Bible, just know that 2 dispositions have to happen to be fulfilled. They have to be at least 2 different witnesses, because you have the elites plan and then you got the truth. So the elites plan is eating no pleasant bread. Well, they know that it means the truth. They know that it spiritually means you're not, the gospel that's being preached is no good. It's no good. Nothing. You're eating the arm of the flesh of your neighbor, of the kings, because you're listening to what they're saying, and it's no good. It's rotten fruit. So there's going to be no pleasant bread, which is food. Fruits that go bad, it's not going to be good. Vegetables that go bad. The seed you sow, you're going to reap what you've sown. But there's from 62 weeks to 70 weeks. There's an 8-week period in between, 70 weeks and 62 weeks. And so that bread that's not going to be eaten, for us, it's the truth. The truth is going to be held up for 21 days. But after 3.5 days, once the 6 seals opened up, which my view right now, and it could change, is the truth getting shut down to the ground. When the sun goes dark, when the Son of God goes dark, when the truth in the world gets stomped to the ground, not everywhere, just on social media, but that's where it's at. That's how I've reached the entire world. From the ends of the earth, my message got to every single country, everywhere. I looked up the analytics. It got to every single part of the world. Just about. Well, yeah, it did. It got at least one view of somewhere in the world, everywhere. Every part. So know that when we're not eating any pleasant bread, it's not a bad idea to fast too, because the way that the elite are going to play this out is they're talking about food. Like, they're talking about Wawa's getting shut down, McDonald's, all the fast food places. There's going to be no pleasant thing to drink. Wine and spirits, no more. Beer distributors. That's why it's wise to practice your fast now. Seriously. What can it do? What can it do besides help you prepare right now? And if you don't prepare, then you just suffer a little bit more. When you're not repenting, you're going to stand in shame. The feeling's going to feel a little bit worse. That's all I'm telling you it's going to happen. A clique has a way of trying to threaten people along. That's the Luciferian way. When you're going at it 100%, it's trying to threaten you with everything. Man, clique. Man, you're going to be a good friend of mine in the future. But right now, and because of what I'm telling you, it's going to happen to you without any promises from any man. I'm literally just me in my phone with this platform, just hopping up here, telling you how I feel, seeing some things I don't believe, and then finding out how they're talking, and then putting things together and out the timing of everything that they're doing, the timelines, the actual clock, o'clock hours when things are going to happen. It's just me sitting here in this vehicle talking to myself. Oh, wait a minute. Is that what Kleck does? He gave himself an email letting him know that on the 12th, the 12th, that he needs to show the world, this video out there. And then the Lord told him because the Lord told him to do that. But at the same time, he emailed himself and told himself to do that. So are you talking to yourself? Are you the God of heaven, Kleck, or are you the God of hell? I'd rather be the God of heaven, the one that has the thoughts of heaven and then can just like spread it around throughout the world like a virus. A good one though, like a brainwashing, but a cleansing of your brain type of thing. See, you can use brainwashing either or, good or bad. It's how you perceive it, and that's what this whole thing's about. All these years, it's been about coming down to this point here and giving you all the truth and all of the lies. That's why Steve and James, you're a master at it, man. You're a master at knowing the truth, and you're a master at lying. You know all of the truth, all of it, and you know all of the lies. I don't know all the truth, but I damn sure do know all your lies. But I only learned the lies because I've been around people my whole life that lies. Even my brothers. Even my brother today, my older brother, William. He was born on December 29th. He is my older brother by exactly 4.5 years. 4 years and 6 months. 48, 50, 54. 54 months more than I am. I'm like talking about the Luciferian spirit, and he's like, because my son was, he was acting up, but I understand why sometimes things get frustrating waiting. But I know that everybody has a good heart. Everybody in the world has a good heart. It's just how much do you allow your head to put a barrier around your heart? How much do you allow your thoughts to put a barrier around your heart? How much pride do you have? So I was talking about it, and he's like, "Well, yeah, weren't wait a minute, how do you say it? Weren't we all Luciferians?" I'm like, you don't even know what you just said, William. You don't even know what you just said. You basically it's like, again, this is proof that God's law is written on man's heart without even knowing a lick of the Bible. Because my brother don't know what, they just don't know. Don't care. That's, whatever, that's how it is. I'm here to help him understand it pretty soon. But what he said was, "O Lucifer, how thou art has fallen." Yep, that's exactly what happened, Willie. We are all Luciferians. We've all fallen short. And I told him, I said, it's just a matter of how much do you continue to stay that way instead of, being more Christ-like minded. It's funny how it works that way. But Stephen Ben Danoon here, what's that? King Herod is you? John St. Julian? I understand I can already understand what he's saying now, because I bet you if I clicked on it, he would say something like, basically, you're your own worst enemy. That's what it comes down to. You're going to kill yourself.
shall destroy the city of the sanctuary. So he's cut off, but not for himself. I don't know. And I believe that there's an argument, too, that Yeshua
he
is
didn't cut
actually
himself
cut
off.
off at the beginning or at the end of the... Because that's what it is. When you're looking at this right here...
It's going to be both.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. Now, that's another thing we have to notice in the verbiage right there. And let me look at this in Hebrew real quick with you, because I wasn't thinking about that as well. Yes. Be'acharei shavuim shashim ve'shnayim ikarat Mashiach ve'ein lo. All right, it's after the 69 weeks have been completed, but he doesn't say when after.
69, huh? And then
So
that
some
1 week
have
period.
assumed that 69 weeks ends and immediately the 70th week begins. And so therefore there's the death of Yeshua and then 7 years left. But it only says that after that 69 weeks are complete. We don't actually get the time frame of when, just sometime after. We find out the after part when we get a little further into this, and we see that the Messiah, or excuse me, the sacrifice is ended halfway into the 70th week. That's why I believe right here, Zebach is referring to Yeshua and not to a literal sacrificial system that's been restarted. I do believe they're going to restart the sacrificial system.
He's right.
And unfortunately...
Here's why he's right, because he's telling you what the truth is. Like, the truth is, and then because he's not agreeing with the way the leader's saying that it is, because he's telling you what the truth is, but at the same time, that disposition is going to be played out as well. It's just look, I understand that Stephen Ben-Danoon is in the inside, and there's a lot of people. He's admitted that he's worked for the CIA and the government, and I'm sure he still does, but I don't feel like he's lying to me. I can't say that for anybody else really that has a channel that does a high profile channel on YouTube. I can't say it about anybody really. I don't feel like he's lying to me, but I do know that he can't say certain things. Just like when the 70 weeks are determined to make an end of sin, to make reconciliation, and to seal up the words of the vision. So there's a period of time coming up where in the middle of the week, in the midst of the week, after 1260 days, there's time to seal up the vision. So Daniel, I feel like back then he had some knowledge of something that he wasn't volunteering the information. He wasn't lying, but he didn't volunteer it. Who said you have to volunteer any information that you have? Who said you can't keep your thoughts to yourself? Who said you can't seal up the vision? Because the vision's for many days. Go your way, Daniel. Just go ahead, go just go where you got to go. Go down that way, because the road's going to be a lot easier for you at the latter end of the vision that you are going to seal up. You're going to seal up this vision because your job was done. You kind of did it way ahead of time, like before they did. So, hey, thanks, Daniel. Here's what do you need? Look, just take it, whatever it is. Just go, and whatever you need, just hand them this card, and you'll get whatever you want for the rest of your life. So go your way, Daniel. You'll inherit your kingdom there, but if you have to stay up, it's going to be easier for you regardless. Like if you have to stay up with the people seeing you, then then here, you know, this is we're gonna show people that they can now believe the words that you're saying without any doubt. You resolved the doubts in people's minds, Daniel. So because you did that, you reaped the benefits of what you've sown towards the end, which is the greatest part, because all of the 450 false prophets that Elijah slew, they started cutting themselves and everything because they got pretty pissed. And King Ahab was mocked, and Jezebel got eaten by a dog. But Elijah, and he didn't even die either. He just straight flew up into heaven. And then Elijah took over with a double portion of the Spirit. So when this vision happens, there's a ceiling. There's a literal ceiling, because the sky is the limit. You know how, okay, again, there you go. Take it both ways. The sky is the limit, which means it's just never ending. The sky will continue for an eternity, forever and ever and ever up there. Just keep going. And then you realize that the sky is the limit, and they're telling you the sky's the limit, which means you're limited. You thought you were unlimited. They're telling you that the sky's the limit, but they knew that there was a protective dome up there that we can't get past. That's why when the asteroids are hitting the planet Earth and the stars falling from heaven and the fake ass sun disappearing for 3 days, you're gonna know then that it's not real. Until then, some people already know, you know, ones that are inside. Other people believe the same thing I do, and then other people are like, no way. And then the only thing that's gonna happen is when it does happen, you'll just be more surprised. It ain't like you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be glad that you heard some freaking kook like me talking about stuff that, I don't think so. There's no way in hell it could be true. Well, it is, and you'll see it. But that's the greatest thing about the end here is I get to go through I learned a lot, how to deal with people, social anxiety, everything. Everything YouTube has just taught me to casting out demons, not worrying about what people are saying, being affected by it at first, but then not now. Going all the way around and then figuring out who's behind the scenes and what they're up to and when they're going to do it. I mean, this is a freaking dream come true. Eventually, I'm going to wake up and settle down and contemplate on what actually happened in the future. But right now, towards the end, I get to feel